हेलो दोस्तों, तो कैसे हैं आप। इस वीडियो में हम मिलने वाले हैं 3 ऑफ द मोस्ट सेलिब्रेटेड क्रिकेटर्स फ्रॉम सनराइजर्स ईस्टर्न केप टीम एंड इनफैक्ट द प्रोटियास टीम एज वेल। दे हैव बीन प्लेइंग वेरी वेल एंड आप उनको देख के बहुत खुश होंगे। सो लेट मी इंट्रोड्यूस टू आवर चैंपियंस। फर्स्ट वी हैव कैप्टन मार्वेलस एडन मार्क्रम, and then we have the hard-hitting, swashbuckling Tristian Stubbs, and obviously the tall, lanky, fast bowler who has been setting fear among batters' mind in power play, Marco Jansen. So, guys, the mood in the team must be like very good now since we needed that 2 wins. And how is it like, Markram?
A lot better than what it was after the first week. So, suppose when you win, it does good things for your change room, and the boys get really happy and excited again. So, nice to have back-to-back wins, especially with a bonus point, and get ourselves back in the competition.
Like you mentioned that you won both the matches against the Durban with bonus points. So you know that how important that can be at the fag end of the points table.
Can help a lot, especially thinking back to after the first 3 games. Obviously, our net run rate was not in a good position. So to obviously fix that problem firstly, and then to get 2 additional points is obviously a massive bonus for us. So sometimes you don't see things working out the way or like they did work out, but we'll definitely take the position we're in now.
You have been like 2-time champions, and does that create some sort of a pressure like coming back for the 3rd season, or is it like a privilege?
Yeah, I don't think it's too much pressure, to be honest. I don't think any of us or the boys feel it. It's quite a social competition for us, and a lot of the energy is based on like enjoying the month that we have together. And obviously when you're on the field, you're highly competitive and desperate to win, but off the field we're enjoying ourselves, creating some really good friendships with the new guys that are here, and having a good month together. So it's pretty relaxed, to be honest. I don't think there's too much pressure. Yeah, we've seen this year that teams are quite desperate to beat us. So that obviously gets us going as well, and we obviously don't like losing either. So it's been okay.
And coming to you, Tristan, like you have been donning the gloves this time, and I've seen you like taking catches out in the outfield. You have taken some blinders. You bat really well, bowl some off spin as well. So is there something like you can't really do on the cricket field?
No, I also try to bowl seam. No, I really enjoy keeping and whatever the team needs. If I have to bowl, thankfully I play with him a lot, so I don't have to bowl much. But yeah, I try and just touch up on everything.
Like you were picked very earlier in the Indian T20 League as well at a young age, and you have been like one of the most expensive bids in the SA20. So is that some kind of pressure because you're young and getting that much money so early?
Yeah, the first year it really like weighed me down. Like that expectation, you sort of don't play the game, you're thinking about the wrong things. But last year it sort of just went with the let's go and enjoy this approach. And yeah, that's pretty much what I try and do in all cricket, just try and enjoy it and play with a smile on your face, and then generally it goes better than not. So yeah, that's what I try and do.
And Marco, first of all, what's your height, man? I really want to know that.
6'8".
All right. And do you think that it kind of helps you in your cricket game as well, the more height?
Not when I'm batting.
No. You can use the long levers though.
Yeah, I have a long blade and a long handle bat. But no, it definitely helps when it comes to bowling. In the field it's challenging sometimes. I feel like a giraffe. But no, it definitely has its pros and cons.
Yeah, so captain actually might be using on the boundaries. I saw you like taking a catch on the boundary just in the last match. So yeah.
Yeah, that definitely helps sometimes, yeah.
And I read that you have been coached by your father in your early days, and you also had like Duan growing up with you, a left armer like you, right-hander batter like you. So how has it been in your younger days?
Yeah, obviously we spend a lot of time together, my brother and my dad. Weekends, weekdays, doesn't matter. Yeah, if we weren't in the nets, we were on the rugby field. We were on the rugby field. We were doing athletics or whatever the case may be, or we were running together. Yeah, a lot of good memories, but also a lot of hard lessons learned. My dad wasn't the nicest when it came to us not performing all the time. But it always came from a good place. We always knew it came from a place of love and care. So that's definitely helped us in our younger days, and it's definitely coming through now.
Definitely it's showing us right now. And I think you have been working on your batting, because the way you're smashing the ball, I mean, when you came onto the scene, it was like more of your bowling. But I think you are like smashing it with the bat, and you have been promoted by Aiden quite a bit now.
Thanks, boys.
Yeah, no, yeah, I've been working on my batting a lot the past year and a half or 2 years. Yeah, I'm just glad it's paying off now. Because there were times where I was uncertain how to approach my batting game, how I wanted to go about it. Because when I was younger, I was sort of a tonker, so if it's there, it goes, or a block. Where I've always wanted to sort of learn how to bat properly, how to rotate strike, those type of things. So yeah, luckily it's paying off now, which is nice.
I was reading your test stats. Of course, I've seen your bowling. 17 matches and about like 73 wickets in the test matches. You have already like 3 5-ers. So are you loving that format more than other formats, or you're like enjoying every format?
No, I love Test cricket way more than all the other formats. It's definitely the toughest. It's not the easiest most of the time. But yeah, it's definitely, well, for me and I guess for you guys as well, it's definitely the most rewarding format in terms of what you put in is what you get type of thing. Where with white ball cricket, T20 especially, sometimes you can be unlucky and sometimes you can be lucky. Where Test cricket, it's if you bowl well, you'll pick up wickets. If you bat well, you'll score runs. So yeah, that's why I like it.
In fact, Tristian, you just got your first century in Test cricket in like October, and even your one-day century in October. So how did that feel? Get the first 100?
Yeah, the first Test 100 was, I mean, you sort of, that's what you want to do, score hundreds. So to get that get off the mark there was really rewarding. And yeah, same for the ODI 100. You just try and almost get, well, you want to score hundreds whenever you go out to bat. So to be able to do that is very satisfying.
Yeah, and Aiden, you arrived quite early on the scene as well. Of course, you are almost 30 now, and these guys seem more younger, but I would say that you actually look young like them as well. But
Thank you.
The thing is, you are actually the only captain to win a World Cup for South Africa. In fact, in the Under-19 World Cup in 2014, you scoring around 60 in the final and 40 odd in semi-final and leading the team to victory. How did that feel at that time, and how important is it you see the Under-19 career for a sort of an initial start?
Yeah, it was quite long ago now, so I can't remember it really well. But obviously it was cool. It was a really nice experience. I think when you're 19, or for at least for me at that stage, you don't get fazed by too much. You just sort of have a massive love for the game and a big hunger to win games, and you sort of take that approach onto the field. So it was a nice experience. We had a nice group of guys. Obviously KG was there.
Corbin Bosch, KZ.
Bosch, yeah. So we had a nice group. And then sort of after that, a lot of us still had to go play like some club cricket. There was semi-professional cricket back then. It was like almost like the B division of first-class cricket, and work your way back or work your way up to the top. So I'm chuffed it worked out that way, because you get to learn a lot about your game and stuff like that. So the way it worked out has been pretty cool. And yeah, nowadays you almost wish you could play a bit more like first-class cricket and stuff like that in between, but the schedule being so busy, it can be a
With all the leagues around, it gets difficult right now.
Yeah.
So you were just 23, if I'm right, when you like captained your national side, and then of course in your debut, like you scored 50, if I'm right, against Bangladesh, and then like there was a sort of a phase for 1 year in which you didn't score 50, but you used to have like 30s, 40s, and that would always make the highlights, and it was like we could see the potential, because even one of your shots would be like so much eye-pleasing and we want to see it more. And then came a phase after that, there was like no stopping you. You had a great 2022, and I mean the 2023 you had like 3 centuries among 7 matches and one of the 175 against the Netherlands. So how did you like transit into like bigger innings from those 30s to 40s?
Don't really know. The idea is not to get out, I suppose, and then you can score more runs. But probably just a case of getting a bit older, understanding your game a bit better, realizing sort of how to go through innings and the tempos and the different gears at which you bat. Each situation requires something different from you in the game, whereas I think when I was young it was you get to gear 5, gear 6 as quick as you can, and you hang on there for as long as you can, and sometimes you get out and that's why you sort of throw it away on 30 or 40 or whatever it was. So some good learnings from that, of course, but yeah, this game you'll always learn every single day. It keeps you nice and humble.
Yeah, and actually, when you played for your domestic cricket team as well, I just see that you are quite competitive in the field. So, is there some funny incident, some rivalry you enjoy personally?
No, I don't really have like rivalries and stuff like that. It's just competitiveness, really.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we all, as sportsmen, we don't take losing really well. So, when you're out on the field, you're highly competitive, you're desperate to win, and sometimes emotions can sort of go up and down quite a bit. So, you sort of take it in your stride, but there's never hard feelings after any games or stuff like that. It's just a strong competitiveness, really.
Great. And you are the captain of the team. So, do you approach it differently if you're not the captain of the team, like in your earlier days, or do you approach it the same way as a batter or as a captain as well?
Yeah, I think batting, you're never really thinking about captaincy. You're just playing as a batter, and then the captaincy side of things is obviously when tactically when you're bowling, field changes, and then all the stuff that happens off the field. So, I don't think captaincy really affects your batting. Well, it shouldn't. Let's say that. And yeah, then the rest is the normal captaincy stuff on the outside of that.
And do you like look at the matchups? Of course, every captain looks at the matchups. For example, like give you a situation, if like there are two left-handers, so do you prefer like Liam coming to bowl, or would you rather bowl yourself since you are the off spinner against the lefties?
You've sort of got to know some of the numbers of the batters. Sometimes it's not. Some guys struggle against like a right-hand batsman or struggle against right-arm offspin, so you've got to know that. But luckily, with the analysis work that the guys do for us, it's pretty easy to remember that stuff. And then also conditions, like if it's spinning, whether it's spinning in or away, like it's still going to be tough for the batter. So you weigh up a few things and listen a bit to your gut and make a decision, and hopefully it works out.
Like I told you, I had a brief conversation with the great man AB de Villiers, and I had a question for him about what he does think about the future of South African cricket and the players he thinks are going to make big. And Tristian, he had your name along with the couple. So it must be feeling great, because coming from someone like him is special, of course. How do you feel about that?
I don't think he looks up to my game. But he has to look.
He did mention that he thinks of himself as your fan and quite watches you or is like interested in your game.
That's pretty cool to hear, but I mean, if AB's saying that, it's pretty cool, but I don't think he has to look up to anyone other than himself. Yeah, I'm just trying to enjoy cricket. It's a tough game. It humbles you quickly. There's so many ups and downs. So if it's going well, you just got to ride that high, and when it's not, you just got to try and get back there as quick as possible.
And do you like have some sort of rituals before the match or the post-match rituals, something like that?
Yeah, I got a few weird things I do. He's like so that I'm quite superstitious. I've got him, or he's told me the other day, he always does it, but there's a big partnership going. He can't move in the change room. We got that going. And yeah, if we go to a new place and you make runs or the team wins, you've got to go for dinner there the night before again and stuff like that. So
yeah, I actually couldn't help but notice like you signing for the children, like for a couple of matches. And do you that like doing that sort of stuff for the young children?
Yeah, I feel. I mean, a lot of them are coming to watch us. So if you look back on it, you remember those interactions. Like when I was young, you might have one interaction, but you remember that. So for us, it's just, I feel we do it for the kids to hopefully get them back to the game, or they might remember the game because of that. So just try and do that after every game when possible.
That's actually quite good on your part as well. And the kids were like very smiling and shouting your name. And I would like to say that you have got crazy fan base. I was surprised to see those sea of orange in the like stadium. I've been to Joburg, I've been to Cape Town as well. But to get that kind of support, the whole sea of orange army, how does it feel? Any of you could answer that.
I think it's pretty awesome. The town in PE loves all supporting the Sunrisers. Like I'll say, we don't get any live sport. I live here. So we literally get the 5 Sunrise games and maybe a Proteas game. So whenever there's live sport in PE, the Eastern Cape comes out and supports. So it's awesome. whenever you walk in the town, you can feel they're talking about cricket. The buzz is there for the Orange Army, so it's awesome.
Yeah, great.
Coming back to you, Marco, you have been performing amazingly well with both bat as well as ball. Of course, there was no doubt about your bowling skills, but you have improved your batting a lot and you have been doing amazing. So, does something like becoming a best all rounder pop up in your mind because you have that potential? You just focus on the game and sort of that stuff.
Yeah, it comes and goes, I guess. Sometimes I think about being the best in the world, and then other times I just think to myself, Plank, just shut up and do your thing. Depends when you catch me, I guess. But no, there's definitely a hunger to try and be the best in the world. Obviously, it's not easy. And also, when people say those type of things, you sort of put yourself out there. But yeah, for me, it's just all about learning, like Aiden said, learning how to do what you want to do and how you want to do it and how you want to go about it. So yeah, as long as I can just go out and perform and put my team in a winning position, then that sort of thing and those kind of stuff will sort itself out. But yeah.
And coming to you, Aiden, actually, how good is it to have someone like Marco in the team?
Yeah, it's great. He does everything. So
Yeah.
bats, bowls, fields. He's competitive. He'll almost do anything to win. So
Funny.
yeah, he's actually become quite funny as well, which is strange. But no, it's fantastic to have on the field in terms of the ability and the competitiveness and stuff like that, and then off the field, obviously, great value as well. So I think you'll only be able to handle one of him though in your team. You can't have 11, 12 of him.
Yeah.
But it's great to have him part of this team and the Proteas team as well.
Do you think like it's difficult to balance between personal life and like the public figure life you have?
I don't think it's too difficult in South Africa, to be honest. Cricket's not the main sport, and the rugby team's been doing really well. And yeah, a lot of the time people might sort of recognise you, but they don't really get in your space. They might like just wave from across the walkway or something like that, and life goes on after that. So I don't find it too bad. Also, I'm not a social person in terms of going out much. I like to braai at home and stuff like that. So obviously then everything's nice and private. So.
And how does it like go in India? There might be fans in India because in India people are crazy for this cricket.
Yeah, it's a shock to the system initially, so if you're not used to it, but over the years you get used to it, and like you say, it's just a massive passion and love for the game, and that's their way of showing it towards the players. So you do understand where it comes from. At times it's quite chaotic, it's quite hectic. I think of like trips to the airport and stuff like that. All the security guards, and it's strange for us as South Africans because we're not used to that. But yeah, you understand where it comes from, and yeah, you learn to appreciate it that way.
You have been performing really well in the test matches as well, and you're gonna play the final now. And you know there might be many Indians supporting you this time, since it doesn't seem like we are gonna make to the finals. So probably 1 billion might be cheering for you this time. So no pressures, but we really hope you do well.
Sure, thank you.
And what would your favorite stadium be, where probably you have either scored or you would like to score some runs there?
Supersport Park's up there because it's always been home for me. It's nice to bat there as well, more often than not. But then the Newlands Test match, New Year's Test match at Newlands, is pretty cool. So that's special, and then obviously every player wants to get on the honours board at Lords. So I'd say that's sort of my top 3 where I'd like to score runs.
How about you, Tristian? The same question.
My favourite ground to play at is St George's.
All right.
Yeah, I love the crowd there, but actually you made a great point. The Newlands Test, I think to score 100 there must be flipping awesome. That crowd there, that atmosphere is amazing. So there or score 100 at a full St George's would be my top 2.
Great, and you are already getting 5-ers everywhere, and you're gonna probably get more. Do you even like think like stuff like that? I want to score a century right here, or you just focus on the game or whatever the team needs?
Yeah, recently I've thought about scoring a century, but then I go out for 14 or whatever. So that's when I probably think just keep quiet and just do what you need to do. Yeah, answering your question, for me, being an all-rounder Centurion is really nice to play it because if I don't score runs, I can always take wickets. So it feels like I'm always in the game, which is nice.
And did you sort of have like role model in your initial days growing up?
Yeah, it started with Jock Cullis, and then it went to Michael Clark batting wise, and then it shifted to Dale Steyn, and then shifted to Mitchell Johnson as I got older, depending on what phase I was in, whether I wanted to be a top order batter or an openings bowler. So yeah, those were the players I looked up to a lot.
So you mentioned Dale Steyn, and you have been probably working with him now. So how does it feel to work with him?
Yeah, it's fun. There's always he keeps it quite light in terms of I can't remember a time where we've had serious conversations, but it's not a case of.
Do you guys speak about cricket?
Yeah, we do. More fishing than anything, than cricket. But yeah, I can only remember us having a lot of laughs, and I remember just asking him a question before last year's final. I asked him, what does he think? How must I go about it? And he just said, don't bowl like a poop ball. So that's literally what he said. He didn't say, listen, just he didn't say bowl a hard length and whatever the case. He just said that, and that just made me laugh, and that freed me up to just go and do what I needed to do. And that's nice to have a guy like that, particularly someone like Dale, keeping you calm and actually sometimes making you laugh as well, which is nice.
So you mentioned Jack Ellis as well. I really want to ask you a question that was asked to Jack Ellis once, and he like gave an answer that everybody would remember. So I'm just gonna ask you the same question. Would you consider yourself a batting all-rounder or a bowling all-rounder?
No, I'm a bowling all-rounder, 100%.
So what Jack answered was, he said, when I'm batting and I'm a batting all-rounder, and when I'm bowling and I'm a bowling all-rounder. That's, I guess, what makes him a legend, and really love that guy. And like, if I give you a situation, like, let's say it's just the last over and either you are batting or you're bowling, you have to like defend 14 or like chase 14. So what are you gonna choose?
Chase 14, 100%.
But you just said you're a bowling all-rounder.
Yeah, I back myself away more with the bat in that type of situation. Yeah, if I had to choose, I'll probably back myself a bit more batting.
I don't remember you giving 14 in even your 2 to 3 overs in the power play.
Yeah, I remember Rashid Khan hitting me for 24 in the last over in IPL. So that's
I do remember that. I actually watched the highlights of it yesterday because I was researching for you guys, and that did pop up somewhere. So, like, how do you team bond together with you? Have like quite a number of English guys with you this time. You have like Liam Dawson, you have Richard Gleeson, Zach Crawley, Tom Abell. How do you bond with them?
none of it's forced. So I mean, we don't do many like structured teams things. I think we've got like a players group where when guys go for dinner, they put something on the group we're going to, wherever it is, and inevitably most of the team joins. So that's probably when we do a lot of our bonding. A couple of hours after each game as well, the boys get together and chat about the game and enjoy each other's company, and then we go to bed after that eventually. So nothing that's forced. Quite a natural and authentic way of doing it, and the guys just thoroughly enjoy their time. I think.
And you like have quite a certain number of young guys in your team. And what would you say, like, who do you think is gonna make a future star in them?
Yes, there's a few. These two have now made it, so we leave them out of it. Maybe Jordan Herman, I think, is a really good player, good batter. And Dila Similani's got a lot of potential as an all-rounder. So those are the few names that come to mind. But there's some good players, not just in our team, but a good few young players around the country at the moment that have a lot of potential to play for South Africa for many years.
Actually, around I think 8 to 9 players have already debuted after the inaugural SA20. So it's like quite nice tournament for South African cricket as well. And to make up even like stars like Marco and Tristian, it's obviously very great, and they are like the permanent in the Proteas team now. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. It was like really fun for me. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I hope you did as well. And I would just like to thank you, gentlemen, and also like one shout out to Exchange22, who is the fantasy partner of the Sunrisers team, hoping for more partnership in the future. Of course, everybody wants to partner with the champions, and I really hope like you get it a third time in a row and make history.
Thank you.
Thank you.
मुझे तो ये वीडियो में मज़ा आया, उम्मीद करता हूँ आपको भी आएगा। वीडियो पे लाइक करेंगे, चैनल पे सब्सक्राइब करेंगे और गिव अवे विन करना है। या आप जो देख रहे हैं मग साइन होते हुए, बैट साइन होते हुए, ये स्पेशली आप ही के लिए है। आप इंस्टाग्राम पे ये वीडियो को शेयर करें, @cricketlearnforecast को टैग करें अपनी स्टोरी में और आप ये जीत सकते हो और इन्जॉय कर सकते हो ऑटोग्राफ जो आपके लिए गुडीज़ मैं भेजने वाला हूँ। तो ये आपके लिए गिव अवे है। वीडियो को लाइक करके, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करके और गिव अवे पार्टिसिपेट ज़रूर करें।